Hello and welcome to Flory Models. Here we are with you on Friday the 17th of September for our Friday roundup. It's been another fantastic week, really busy and a lot of things finishing off and getting done. So it all started, as you can see down below, for the final part of the Zvezda truck, so part 10. This particular one down in here, and basically it was really just bringing it all together. So we had a couple of little problems with the actual kit because you do get some mirrors for it, but to be honest they're the wrong scale, so we ended up using a little bit of the old Molotov chrome pens for doing that job down in there. Fitted the windows, you see we've still got the PVA glue drying down in here, but hopefully you can see what we're trying to achieve with the pigments in the previous part in there. All of those in there. The gun was all finished off and that was ready to be mounted in the back, so we got it on the blocks as well, so it's all ready to go. We started to install all the lights and the various little parts into it, going in there and obviously getting those all in there, and then really just going around and finally giving it the final touches of weathering. So we were using the actual Flory Models wash. Obviously being clay wash, it works just like a vehicle, so we were brushing it on by hand, and then to give it a nice sort of flat dead look and grimy look that we could play with, we actually airbrushed it on as well. And that completed off that build, as you can see down in there as well, with the truck all finished off. It was one of those ones which, again, I've spoken about it for weeks now because it's been done, but it was a real nice surprise. We often talk about how that you get bogged down in modelling, and some of the shows we've discussed it about Mojo and things like that. That's definitely one of those kits where it flowed beautifully. There wasn't a single part of that kit that I didn't enjoy doing. The gun was a little bit tedious, but the truck itself is absolutely fantastic. So a big thumbs up to Zvezda on there. So all 10 parts are available now. You can go off and see all of those, and there they are all down in there, and the video is up for the members to see on that one just down in there. Tuesday was a big day. I've been working this last couple of weeks since we finished the truck, to be honest, on a new series of airbrushing videos. As a lot of you know, that we've got one that cover all the acrylic line of stuff, because I used to pretty much spray exclusively acrylics a few years back, and I have switched over to lacquers now. So whilst the old videos, I still stand by them, they are still fantastic. These ones are a little bit more updated, and obviously better camera angles, things like that as well, and sound and all those things have really shown through. So part one of that one went up on Tuesday, and it was basically talking about the actual airflow, you know, and then we were talking obviously about pressures and various things. We were talking about sort of MAC valves, or the air controllers that are built in or separate, how those all work, and the various things about those as well. So that really covers all down in there. And also we covered some troubleshooting as well, like when you've got no air. Is it because you've got the wrong nozzle and the actual air cap size in there? Is it perhaps you've got a bunged up hole somewhere, and various things like that which can cause problems with that one. So that one is up there just like this, and bubbles in the colour cup, some of the common problems that you might get with your actual airbrush as well. Then we put up as well, the next one was about paint mixes. So, you know, dispelling that sort of myth which was a little bit old school, where it's all supposed to be like milk and this, that and the other, and we were talking about obviously thick paint and too thin paint, and then obviously finding that right balance. And again, as we spoke about before, it's all to do with what we speak about in the next one, which is over here, which then goes through and it's basically finding the balance. So up with you yesterday we put up about paint mixes equals your air, which equals your distance. So having all three combined is what you make for nice airbrushing. And again, we showed down in here in the video about when it's too thick what to look out for, and then obviously when it's too thin what to look out for, so you know exactly what's going on, and you can understand your airbrush a little bit more, and then maybe by upping the air pressure a bit or thinning your actual paint a bit, and then having to obviously you know, lower the air pressure, lower your distance as well, and how to get that balance of how your airbrushes actually work. And then that ties into the one which we did last week, which talks about textures. So obviously if you're getting bad texture and you've got like a rough finish to your model and things like that, how to stop that, and then if you have got it, how to fix it as well. So really that completes the first little mini section all about airbrushing. Now this will be available at a slightly later date for non-members as well to go off and see. It's just that I'm still building it on the main site, but it is up here in the forum section for members to see at the moment. So the first part of it is really about airbrushing and how it works, how to dismantle and what to expect from your airbrush. And then we've got some of the old favorites in here as well. So we talk about basically extractors, how they work, the prices and things like that. We talk about, as an older one, but it's still relevant today, different compressors and what you're looking for and what you're going to be getting out of those. And one of the ones that gets asked all the time is how I actually make my own filters. And obviously we talk about sort of normal filters for masks and things like that as well. So that's all now down in amongst all this section. So the one-on-one section, as I've called it, on airbrushing should really get you going and answer pretty much all the questions I get asked on a weekly basis right the way through. So obviously we talk about maintenance and cleaning and all those bits and pieces down in there as well on that one. It's something that I've been working on now literally for the last couple of weeks, and I'm going to do a lot more. This week coming, we're going to talk about obviously camo patterns, how about doing this type of work, how to do sort of, obviously digital camo patterns, and obviously freehand, all these different areas, and how to set up your airbrush and how to go about it. And then obviously we'll be moving on as well to doing things like metal finish. So we'll be looking at the differences between sort of, silvers and metallizers, because obviously high speed silver on sort of, especially 60s and 70s aircraft is totally different from a natural metal finish. So we'll be looking at those ones as well right the way through. So hopefully by the end of this one, you'll have a really good idea of how your airbrushes work, and also when it's going wrong, why is it going wrong, but also more importantly is how to fix it. So in all of these videos at the back end of them, we do the trouble section guide, and that is talking about, okay, so it's gone wrong, how are you going to fix it? So first of all, let's understand why it's done it, then we're going to fix the problem on that one. So hopefully a little bit of knowledge, as I said, if you can understand exactly what's going on, it makes things a lot easier. I'm also going to be obviously, going on to doing some build work with you as well. So I've got some of the Revell kits up there as well, which I'm going to be doing literally a sort of, blow by blow account really of things like sanding, and then obviously we'll be looking at fillers. We'll be looking at obviously rescribing, re-riveting, to hopefully get the basics all down, and then hopefully troubleshoot some of the problems you can get at each one of these stages. So it gets everybody up to that level of being quite proficient of bunging a kit together, and then obviously getting the basic paintwork together onto it, and then you can move up the sort of, the sort of ease of builds and things like that to get them done a lot quicker and easier. So that's what we're working on down in there. So it has been a lot of fun. You can go off and see all of these. Some of these are available out as well as separates and things, but there will be a full section on the main site which will cover it as well. But at the moment, it's still a little bit of work in progress. I'm going to need a little bit more time just to get the links and everything all to work on that one. Wednesday was the PM show, so Matt was down in the unit, Andy was working from home, and I was down in here, as you can see, and we were talking all things kit related. It's quite a long show. It's amazing when we didn't know what we were going to talk about 20 minutes before we started, and obviously we were looking at some of the new and upcoming releases, which got exciting, what's coming along, and various things we're up to as well. So again, some of the new lines that the PM model store is carrying as well. We're doing a new line of pigments and washes and things like that as well at the store, so if you want to have a look at those ones, you can see that show down on there. Like we say, it's basically a window onto the PM models world and what we get up to on that side of the business. But if you ever need any help or technical advice, obviously on kits and things like that, that's definitely the show for you. Last night we tried to answer that eternal question about color accuracy. Now, obviously, it was one of those ones where, it's amazing how everybody in chat mentions about how they don't care, but it's the most asked question we probably get as a team and as a company and everything else that goes along this one about color accuracy. And luckily for us, John did a little bit of a show on different colors from different manufacturers, and as you can see just down on here, the wide variety of different colors that are out there from different manufacturers, when they are all supposed to be RLM02, RLM76, and then obviously we've got RLM81, things like that down in there. So again, it's one of those areas where, I think people get really wrapped up into it and they get very, very vocal about it. And the thing is, if you call people out on it, no one cares. They say, oh, I don't mind it as long as it's in the ballpark. Well, clearly not, because on the forums, not just ours, but other ones as well, people do get quite heated about different colours and colour shades and should it be and what do you recommend. Like I said before, and it was my take from the entire thing of this one, whatever makes you happy. At the end of the day, if it looks right to you, then it's good enough for me. And as you know, I am not a rivet counter. There's other places to go. If you want rivet counting, please go somewhere else, because I don't get involved with all of that. I think they're a well worth part of the hobby to have rivet counters who call out mistakes to make things more accurate, but I think there's a time and a place and ways of doing it. But generally, it's a bit like the Vulcan down in here and all of these. Classic example, this is all Hitaka paints. This one over here on the truck, as I did point out in the video if you've seen it, I have got this actual Russian colour to use, and I went to grab it and it dried out on me, unfortunately. So I did a little bit of testing, and this is actually RAF green, even though it's Russian. But by the time it's weathered and put in and all the rest of it, you can't tell the difference. And I forgot the original colour and checked it. They're incredibly close anyway. So from our point of view, by the time you get your weathering on and you do your bits and pieces to it, as long as you're in the rough ballpark with the colours, I think you'll be absolutely fine. But again, like John was pointing out in the videos, you see in the pictures down in there, it can be a bit of a minefield when there is a really big discrepancy. When also some of them look like they're buff, some of them look like they're light blue. You know, where do you go with it? So we can understand that there's obviously the questions get arise from it, but as we were taking out of it, if it looks right to you and it looks good on your references, I would go with it. I really wouldn't get wrapped up too much into it. As has been pointed out by a lot of people, unless it's literally just come out of the factory or out of like a repaint or something else like that, it's never going to be that color anyway. So again, scale effect, there's so many different variables that make it almost a non-starter as a complaint. When people say it's the wrong color, as long as you're in the ballpark, go with it. Don't get hung up onto it. And that's what we're doing in these sort of shows we're doing at the moment. We're taking the most asked questions that we get time after time and hopefully dispelling the sort of myths about them and the worries that people have as well. So that's why we're doing this sort of range of shows, and it's great that you guys have been involved with it as well. Some great feedback on that one. So anyway, you can go off and see that one and see if you agree with us at the end of the day. And again, it's one of those things where I think it's very, very hard to make an argument about paint accuracy when no one really knows at the end of the day. Up with you today is, where we got it, here it is the Vulcan. So the next part is up with the Vulcan with you today, and this is basically the grey section. So this is part, I will line these up at the moment, part 9. It is free to watch. You can go off and see this one. You don't have to be a member, and that's basically down in here. And in this part we talk about making, there's a few little repairs that we make do because we're not happy with the way they're looking. So again, in primer stage, we found there's a few problems and we go about actually fixing those and sorting them out. And then we're masking up everywhere to give us a nice crisp edge for the camo to sort of wrap around the leading edges of the wings and things like that, so we get all of those down in there. And then we go about actually spraying the grey on. So this is the top coat of the grey. So it's the medium sea grey going right the way over it, and then we make up a sort of a bleached effect of it to weather it in and make it so it doesn't look like a brick, and going through the motions of it, as you can see, trying to keep it nice and smooth and a nice satin finish right the way through on this one, on this particular build. So anyway, part 9 is up for you to watch right now. As I say, you can watch any of these ones and you can click on here to make it full screen, or you can go off and watch it on YouTube and all the other bits. It is on our YouTube channel as well if you want to go off and have a look at those ones. They are all linked in there just like that. Review wise, this week we had, if I pop over to reviews, only the one, because to be honest I've been flat out busy doing all these videos, but we've got the Bowfighter. Really nice kit, and like I say in these things, it's that typical thing with Revel kits. You know, it's not going to win a beauty award, and people aren't going to say it's the best in scale and it's everything else like that, because clearly they're done to a price point. But what I absolutely love about these kits is it's right on the cusp of greatness, as I call it. So going through these ones, and again, it's like just looking through the parts. If you want to, you can take what is technically a really good kit straight out of the box. I don't think you're gonna have any problems with it, and with a few small improvements you can turn it into something a little bit special. Go off and have a look at my FW190, which is the Revel kit, if you want to see one done to the max. But with this one, like I was saying, if you wanted to, 2 simple steps to really bring this one alive would be, you know, an aftermarket instrument panel, because let's face it, the one that's in the kit is horrible. It's a decal and it just looks naff. And some harnesses down in there, purely because there's a lot of glass work at the front here and you can see in there, because the molded on ones aren't really going to cut it. So that would make a big improvement to it. And then perhaps just a light re-rivet around some of the panels. I'm not saying about going everywhere, obviously you could, but I think just adding that little bit of detail to it, you will end up with something really nice. And if you did want to open up the engines, you know, cleaning out the ejector pin marks and then a little bit of wiring in there, a little bit of plumbing, you could actually have a stunning kit. Really, really nice. And again, it's all got posable control surfaces and all the different bits in there, but the most important thing is it's a really nice price. You know, it's a really good price point on that one. It's not going to break the bank, and you've got the options. straight out of the box, no problem at all. Really nice kit. Do a little bit of work to it, turn it into something a little bit special, and that's what I really love about these kits. And to be honest, going back to this, point we're talking about the new, sort of tutorial videos, that's why I'm using their kits. At the end of the day, they're really good. They're not going to be completely Tamiya, chuck a bottle of glue at it, it's going to fall together. You are going to have to build it. At the end of the day, you have something really, really nice straight out of the box. So again, I am going to be working on the Mustang with these particular videos we're doing now. I've got a 109 up there to do some motley work and things, and I've got a Spitfire in there, and again, I've got lots of them, and now we've got obviously the Beaufighter as well. We should have a lot of fun doing these. So again, it's one of those ones, it's a nice scale, it's great for the camera, and you get in there, you can see everything that I'm doing with it, and that's what we love about it. PM models. Obviously, we do have to talk about it on 3 weeks time. On the 2nd and 3rd of October, we're having Flory Fest, which is our online weekend model show. It will be starting around about sort of 10 o'clock on Saturday, and then it will run through till around about 5 o'clock on Saturday afternoon, and then same again on Sunday. And I think we might be doing something on a Saturday night as well for our usual sort of jovial with a pint quiz night as well. So if you want to get involved with that one, you can come along. Obviously, we've got some great prices and deals on Flory Models products, but also PM Models will be involved with it as well for some nice discounted bits and pieces on there. So if you want to get involved with that one, we'll be talking about that one a lot more when we get a bit closer to it and things. We're going to be building, we're going to be demoing, we'll be answering questions like we did last year. If you remember our virtual Telford last year, we'll be doing that one, because unfortunately this year we're not going to be doing Telford. To be honest, we're just not overly keen about doing it this year, but hopefully we'll be back next year over there once we can get over this horrendous pandemic and we can move on with it. But at the moment, it's not really for us. So as a company, PM Models and Flory Models will not be attending Telford this year, but hopefully we'll be back with it next year. Anyway, over in there we have the new arrival section on the PM. As you can see, there's a couple of bits of Ryefield as well. So we've got the early Tiger one down in there as well. It's got the old bin on the side of this particular one, as you can see. So that's a really nice kit down in there as well. So if you fancy a 35th scale one of those, they are in stock right now, as well as a late Sherman, if you want to call it that, because it's the Korean one. Fantastic markings on that particular one, isn't it? So we got that one down in there with the really, really stunning markings. So very, very nice kit indeed. So if you wanted to grab yourself some of those new in. We got the Mrap. For all the people who remember doing an Mrap, this is the one with the Crows system, which is that automatic gun on the top. Sorry about the picture, for some reason it doesn't like it on here, but as you can see, it's got that automatic cannon on the top bit. I built that kit. It's a big build. Let's just say full interior, literally every nut and bolt you put together on that kit. You can go off and see mine if you want to. As I say, I did the standard version. This is the latest release, which has the Crow system, which is the automatic gun on the top. It is down in there. We've got the Dauntless as well. This one's in. Again, this is a great kit if you don't know about it, because this is actually the Accurate Miniatures kit. We often speak about how it's such a shame that that company is no longer with us, because they did produce some amazing kits, and this one just stands up to it as well. So again, if you ever think about Accurate Miniature kits and stuff, keep an eye out. There is reboxings of them. This is one of them here. And again, for 30 quid, it's an absolute bargain as well. So really nice to see that one down in there. I've managed to get that in. Again, we got some bikes in. This is the Hasegawa ones we were talking about the other day. This is another one. So this is the 1/12 scale as well. Scott Racing Team Honda. So again, beautiful bikes. Very, very nice ones. This one has sold out. I've got one coming down to me for a reason, which you'll know about probably next week. Anyway, we'll do the review on that one. So that'll be really nice as well. And hopefully we'll be getting some more of these in as we make our way through on this one as well. As you can see, some of the other stuff we've spoken about over the last few weeks is down in here as well. And obviously some of the stuff I've been reviewing as well. We've got the Vulcans back in as well, if anybody's looking for those. So say plenty of bits and pieces all going down on there. And then obviously we've got the specials up this week. So the Fokker, this is both versions, the one with obviously the bust figure, and then obviously we got the one down in here as the standard one. I've done a review of that one as well. You can see both of those. Again, we've got some border models, bits and pieces down in here. So we've got the Crusader, and we've got the Panzer as well. And also back in stock as well, we've got the Das Works 72nd U-boat. That is in here as well, and a couple of other nice bits that are back in. The shuttles, things like that as well. The lovely Tamiya 1 to 100 shuttle is in stock. Again, a few of the bikes. And again, we've managed to get back, which is handy, the Harrier. So again, this is the good one because it comes with both lyrics with it. So you've got the 65% lyrics and 100% lyrics, which means nothing unless you're building a Harrier, and you'll probably want one or other. This is the one kit that comes with both. So again, we've managed to get some more of those in. They sold out basically straight away last time when we mentioned it. They're back in stock, as is the Sabre and as is the F-104 as well for the Starfighter. So if you want to grab those, they are back in stock, and a few other bits and pieces, as you can see down in there, and some of the other bits of which are the actual review samples. And then obviously we've got some of the damaged box items down at the bottom. So again, if you want to grab yourself a little bit of a bargain, they are down in there. And then last up, two new lines that we've got in. We've got MIG washes and filters, so they are all in stock right now. We had a pallet full of that turn up this week at the PM store, so they are available down in there. And then obviously we've got the MIGs, which were MIG, but they call them now 502 pigments. I think they've been rebranded under the Abteilung branding system with AK. So they are all in there now, and I've used them before and I've got them here as well. Really nice range of pigments as well, so we've got all of those in there. So if you want to grab yourself one of those, they are in at the PM store as well. And that is it for this week. As I say, really busy for me, and that's why we're nice and clean in here in some ways, because I've been a lot of the time in there with lots of red paint and various things. As I say, got great videos coming up for you, which will hopefully be dispelling all the myths and how to fix and how to see why it doesn't work and stuff like that, of actually doing camo work. That will be up with you next week. And then I'm going to be working on to the basic modelling type things, and then that will all tie in together as we make our way through. And then just to say, I have got a little something coming for the Comrade Buller SIG as well, something I've never done before as a video build. So I wanted to do something a little bit left field, and yeah, to say this is left field, this isn't even in the park. So something I've never done before, should be quite exciting. Hopefully it'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and then obviously I'll do a review of it, and then in a week or two's time I'll get on with that one. There is a few more parts of the Vulcan still to come, but as I say, that'll be coming along with you as we make our way through. So you probably get another part of this up on Monday, because obviously now that this one's finished, I like to do a video build on a Monday and a Friday, so those will still come along as everything else. And again, I've got some reviews coming here for you next week as well. Anyway, that's it from me. As always, on a Friday, I'm going to leave you with your great work from the gallery section. So until next week, everybody, happy modelling. Take care.
I was not ready to falling like I'm wasted.